Men of Reddit, what's your best? I did it for a girl. Story? February 1990. My roommates and I bought the Mike Tyson-Buster Douglas fight on pay-per-view. We had tons of people over to watch Tyson destroy this guy no one ever heard of. But of course it turned out to be a good fight, and just as it was getting really exciting, my then-girlfriend yells at me from the bathroom. I go see what the hell she wants, and she says she just started her period, and she's out of tampons. Because of course she is. So she needs me to run to the convenience store to get some more. God damn it. Okay, the fight is really good and the round is about over. The convenience store is only a few hundred yards away, so I figured I could jump in my car, race to the store, buy the tampons, and get back in time to see the last round. So that's what I did, and when I pulled up in the driveway and jumped out of the car, I could hear everyone yelling inside my house. I ran in the door and looked at the TV, just as Mike Tyson was counted out. I missed the greatest upset knockout in boxing history because I had to go buy tampons. Forget Tyson. You were the champ that night. I didn't have money growing up but somehow had a girlfriend. She wanted to go to prom and I couldn't afford it, so her dad told me I could paint their fence for prom money. They were very well off. Successful bankers. It was Texas in April, so pretty hot. And the fence was very long as they lived on a ranch and had horses. It sucked. How much did you get paid? How long did it take you to paint the fence? Like 4 weekends or something. I remember there was a whole month where I couldn't do anything. And I think it was around $150? The price of the prom ticket and dinner. LMAO, how many hours you work those weekends? She must have at least kept you company, right? Like 3 to 4 hours a day. And I got paint all over my clothes, which was a big deal cause I didn't have a lot of clothes. Yes, she spent most of the time out there with me, but she definitely didn't do any painting. My girlfriend is from Poland, so I drove back and forth between Belgium and Poland about 10 times in 8 months. I'd often take Friday off, drive there on Thursday after work, then drive back home on Sunday to be back for work. The trip was almost 1,000 kilometers one way. Now we live together, so none of that is necessary anymore, but it was 100% worth it. 10/10 would do it again. How long was the drive? Most of the drive was through Germany. I literally crossed the entire country from west to east, where there are virtually no speed limits, plus 180 kilometers through Poland where there's a 140 kilometers per hour limit which nobody obeys. When traffic was calm, I did virtually the whole way with the pedal to the metal. My quickest was 7 hours on a very calm day, my slowest was 13 hours. The average was probably around 9 hours. I once let a girl sit on my lap for an hour or two even though I was bursting for a shit. When she finally got up, I excused myself politely and proceeded to fucking destroy my friend's toilet. Joined a fashion show on a boat that needed more guys and she really wanted me to come. Thought it would be great, hang with my crush, surrounded by models, what could go wrong? Well, so did every guy in the city apparently. The boat wasn't me and tons of models as I figured. It was me, 8 models and over 40 dudes on a boat that I couldn't leave. For a few hours. My crush didn't show up. I took martial arts when I was younger. There was this girl who was in the same class who I was pretty into, and being young and in love, I decided I would do anything for her. Turns out she was left-handed, and knowing that, I did what any sane person would do. I began to force myself to become a lefty. We dated for a few months and during that time, I became more and more left-handed. Now I am a complete lefty in all that I do. All because of a girl. Still not sure how I feel about it all. That's impressive that you managed to become a lefty in a few months. I got into this fight with this dude who kept hitting on a girl I liked, and it made her uncomfortable. I didn't want it to escalate into a fight, I just told he had to back off, and he started swinging. After the fight was over, she made sure I was okay, and told me how good of a friend I was for standing up for her. So she was the one that hit the hardest that day. I was at a summer camp in Maine. We were not allowed to make more than 1 phone call a week. I entered the manager's office, said my sister was having a child. They promptly offered me the phone office. I dialed, spoke for a minute, broke a smile, hung up, burst into tears, and shouted, "I'm an uncle." In the office, everyone rejoiced, hugged me, gave me free M&Ms, and shared the news with the camp over the speaker system on 4th of July. Of course, my sister didn't have a baby. I don't even have a sister, and I was just finding a way to call my girlfriend to say hi. Alright. This is one that literally changed my entire fucking life. So, when I was in 7th grade, I was a bit of a troublemaker. Knowing this, my dad decided he wanted me to learn martial arts as a form of discipline. It made sense. He wanted me to focus my energy into something that wasn't violence or pranks. As we were driving up the school, I was thinking of ways of getting out of it until I saw her. I can still remember the exact moment I first saw her. She was an Asian girl and was twirling nunchucks like she was Bruce Lee incarnate. I saw her and immediately told my dad that I wanted to join. He said, "You want to learn nunchucks?" And I said that I did, because I didn't want to tell him I was only joining because of a girl. Anyways, I joined, but I couldn't get the nerve to talk to her. There were always so many people there, and I just didn't know how to talk to her. We had a few interactions, but they were always weird and awkward. So I decided to impress her with my mad skills. So, I got better and better, trained my ass off, and became as skilled as I could possibly be. I became one of the best sparrers in the gym, and her parents loved me. Her dad thought I was smart and tough, and her mom liked me because I made it a point to talk to her when she was there. I had a few interactions with her, but I just couldn't talk to her much. We sparred a lot, and she beat me in the few judged matches that we had. 5 years passed, and I left the school looking for bigger and better places to train. I joined an MMA gym and began having exhibition fights in the cage when I run into an old friend who admitted to having a crush on me. I tell her that it was cool and that I never noticed, and then she mentioned, "See, a lot of girls had crushes on you back then. Disney was crazy about you, weird name, that's why she was always so awkward around you. You made her nervous." I asked her who knew, and she said, "Everyone knew. That's why we always tried to pair you both up for training." And I went nuts. I began trying to find her because, why not? At this point I was already fighting in cages, so I figured talking to her would be easy. So, I eventually ran into her mom, who told me that Disney had just gotten married and moved to another country. 2 weeks too late. Ha! Funniest is when skinny dipping in the middle of winter. When I got out, she was far from impressed, lol. I drastically changed my life for a girl. I'm in college and was on track to become a photojournalist. I met a girl who was on track to be a nurse. We started dating. I fell in love. I decided to switch my major to nursing so we could be aligned on the same path. She broke up with me. I'm still a nurse. I'm still in love. That is sad. But how did you find nursing? Do you regret it? What was the reason for the breakup? I went to nursing when she became worried about us going different directions with our lives. I don't regret the change yet, but it's definitely a huge change. The reason she gave was that she didn't know if she'd have enough time for me in school, which is funny because she's out partying at least twice a week. I don't know why I still love her, but I do. When I was 16, I was playing basketball with some friends when some girls showed up and took our ball and locked themselves in their car with it. We all mobbed around the car to get the ball back, flirt, and one of my friends jumped up on the trunk. I did the same thing, only I ran onto the roof of the car, not realizing there was a sunroof on top. Took one step on the sunroof and busted straight through it. Knocked my leg on the broken glass and had to go to the hospital to get 16 sticks and a skin graft. Texted one of the girls when I got out something along the lines of, "Didn't mean to drop in on you earlier, but I had to break down the wall somehow." Looking back, totally worth not having half the nerve endings in my legwork. Please tell me you got a response to the greatest one-liner of your life. I did. We actually went to prom together later that year, although we never technically dated. I used to bite my nails a lot. It was honestly disgusting, and even though I tried to stop, I couldn't. But then a girl that I had a crush on told me that they looked gross, and I decided to change. I never got with her, but I also never bite my nails. I have the same problem right now. I'm 20, and have done it for as long as I can remember. How did you manage to stop? The power of the pussy is a strong one. Tried out to be a cheerleader. I memorized the poem, Ozymandias, by Percy Shelley. No, I didn't get the girl. Yes, I do have a new favorite poem. The girl I had a crush on was a member of some marching band, so I joined up so we had some common ground for conversation and whatnot. They had me learn the bagpipes. The fucking bagpipes. I drove my family, and myself, Crazy learning to play long way to the top on these things. Anyway, just when I learned enough to be able to keep up with the band, one of the teachers who coordinated the whole thing suddenly died. So they canceled the concert I had been preparing for to go to this guy's funeral. I hadn't even been a member for a month at this point. It was like super awkward. Everyone was bawling and giving me words of comfort, and I was standing there like, what the fuck. I never spoke to this man. On the plus side, the girl I liked hugged me, but she was pretty distraught. I'm pretty sure she would have hugged an alligator at that point. And that was pretty much the extent of my high school love life. Man, no guy ever learned bagpipes for me. Do you have a similar story? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.